Hey everybody, welcome back to the Proton Pack is Not a Toy. If you were with me in the last video, we talked about the differences between some of the packs in Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2, namely the differences between the Alice pack frames and straps on the hero packs and the semi-hero packs, and how they evolved between the first movie and Ghostbusters 2. I wanted to kind of continue that and talk about some of the other differences that we saw in the packs as they transitioned to the second movie, and some of the things that carried over from Ghostbusters on the hero packs and some of the things that were changed. And also, while we're doing that, I'm going to kind of go over my pack here, the one that I'm eventually going to turn into a Ghostbusters 2 tribute pack. As I get parts and start building the new pack that I'm going to have, and that one's going to become my Ghostbusters 1984 pack. So I'm going to show you on this one things that are set up to be correct for the 1989 movie, and some of the things that are still on there that look more like they should be on a 1984 pack. And so we'll go through all of that, and I'll show you some of the things that I've gotten that I'll use to make that transition with this pack to update it to the 1989 pack. So let's take a look. The elements I want to focus on for this video include the crank knob, the ion arm connector here on the end cap, or as this case is off of the end cap, the ribbon cable, the ion knob or shock mount, whatever you prefer to call that, the screws over here, the socket head cap screws, and the washers that connect the pack shell to the L brackets on the motherboard. There's 4 of those, as well as the 4 screws, 2 on either side of the bumper over here, as well as their washers on there. Those are the things I want to look at today. So what on this pack is already set up for 1989? Well, for one thing, I have the ion arm clippered elbow here. In the second movie, on the semi-hero packs and on the pack that they created those with, they moved the clippered elbow, which was a square-headed elbow, from the end cap here, and put it on the actual arm itself and replaced it with a hexagonal shape there. So that one's set up for Ghostbusters 2 and ready to go. I do want to go back and paint this black. I've had it black before and decided I liked it, just kind of the silvery chrome look. And to be more accurate, I need to paint it black, so I'm going to go back and paint that black again later. The ribbon cable here is the Ghostbusters 2 version. It's got a completely different kind of cable, so that one's ready to go for Ghostbusters 2. And as far as it goes, I think that's about it on those things that can kind of go back and forth. The crank knob on the second movie was black. On the first movie it was a gray color. The shock mount or ion knob in the first movie it was mounted with a screw from the back coming from the inside. On the second movie it had a screw going inside from the front, and so that's going to need to be changed on this one. And then the screws on the sides aren't the socket head cap screws on the second movie. They are slotted, I'm sorry, not slotted, they are pan head screws that are painted over in black, and that goes for the L bracket mounts as well as the mounts over here on the bumper. The ones on the bumper had the pan head screws with washers on them, but the ones that mounted the shell to the motherboard did not have the washers still on there. So I've been doing my homework, been looking at a lot of reference photos of the packs from the first movie and the second movie. Kind of the hard part is the packs from the first movie were modified to use in the second movie, at least the hero ones were. And so looking for some of those details from the first movie, it's kind of hard to find the close-up pictures of the individual parts from the 1984 packs before they were modified, because if we look at the ones that go up for auctions now or on display now, they've got all the 1989 modifications done to them, so they look like Ghostbusters 2 packs. So finding the close-ups and the little details of the 1984 packs can be a little challenging, but I believe I found enough pictures to be able to make educated changes, and think that it'll be okay. And so I've been doing my homework and finding some parts that I'll need to make the changes that I want to this pack. So one of the things that I found on eBay was a vintage black Raytheon crank knob, and it has the correct manufacturer name on the inside there as well as the part number. So this will be an easy change to swap out the gray one on there and put on the correct vintage knob, which is cool to find that. It was about 20 bucks on eBay, plus about $5 for shipping, so I felt that was a fair price. I also went and bought some screws, some machine screws, or call them bolts if you want to replace the socket head cap screws on the sides for the shell mounts to the motherboard, as well as the bumper mounts to the shell. So I've got them in a couple of different sizes, and then I also have some washers as well that I'll use to paint those black. And so I haven't painted them yet. It's been really windy the last couple of days, and just now getting around to getting these prepped and ready to go. So I attached them all to this board, and so I'm going to hit the top halves of all these with black paint, but I'm not going to paint them all the way through, so that way it's easier to thread all this, and just have enough on the top. And then as I screw them in, I expect to lose a little bit of the paint just from the screwdriver coming into contact with it. And if I need to make some touch-ups, I'll just get a little bit of spray paint and then go over it with a paintbrush once it's already on the pack. I don't want to be doing any spray painting while they're on the pack. I want to do it off the pack first and then make those changes, because I'm not planning on doing a complete overhaul. I'm just trying to do changes on some of the little details. I'll scoot over a little bit. One of the things that kind of gave me a little heartburn was deciding on how I was going to handle the shock mount / ion knob, whatever you want to call it. It looks like a nose on the front of the Proton pack there. This one, it's not completely screen accurate, but it's a nice machined metal piece, and it looks nice, and I'm hesitant to drill it out from the front to be able to put the slotted screw that needs to go on the front there to be more Ghostbusters 2 accurate. So I found a pack of license plate bolts at Lowe's. There's a 2-pack for 50 cents, 1/4-inch 20s by 5/8 of an inch, truss head slotted zinc screws, and or bolts. So this is what the end looked like, and that's what I was most looking for, is to get that rounded top with a big slot on it, and that's what's going to go on the front. I tested it, and it would go from the back and it would be fine. It's threaded through with one that's exactly this size from the back. But it's such a nice part, I didn't want to go and start drilling in from the front and damaging it in case I ever wanted to swap it back, or, you know, it's a good piece of equipment. I didn't want to damage it. And so what I decided to do is, instead of changing this part out, was these were 50 cents. So it came with a 2-pack. So not this one, but the other one that came with it. I hacked off the end and just had the head. And what I decided to do was have that where I can just mount it to the front. And if I ever want to take it off, maybe I'll use some double-sided tape or something and mount it to the front. I put a a small like picture hanging nail on the back of it. And I Gorilla Glued that on there. And so it's a little loose, but as you can see, you can kind of sit that in there. And like I said, if I put a little tape or something on there, and then maybe wrap some tape or something around the end of the screw to make it a little bit more of a fit, then it achieves the look. It gets what I want it to be without having to damage a nice part there. So that's kind of the concession I'm going to make with that. And once I make those changes and I change out all the bolts on the sides, then I think I'm ready to go. When I was looking through all these sources, these reference pictures, one of the things I wanted to be sure of when I was looking at the sides of the bumper, I kind of had a question on whether the Ghostbusters 2-packs, I knew they had the pan head screws on the sides to replace the socket head cap screws, but I was having trouble telling if they had washers underneath them, or if it was just the appearance that there might have been washers there because the first movie had the washers on there and I didn't know if it left an indentation on the bumper. And so putting the new screws in there, I didn't know if that was actually a washer behind them or if it was kind of the shape of the washer that was left behind from the ones that were replaced. But I do think that I found enough evidence from looking at some of these pictures that I'll be putting up here that you'll be able to see that it does look like there were some washers that were put on there and painted black along with the screws. And so that's what I'm going to be doing on the sides of the bumper. But it does not appear that any of the packs had washers with the mounts for the motherboard and the shell itself to the motherboard. So I'm going to be using 4 of those washers just for the bumper. But as far as the pack to the motherboard, that one's not going to have any washers on that one. So once I get all these painted and ready to go, then I'll have an update on that for you guys and kind of show you where I'm at. Got a few other changes that I intend to make, and then I've got another order on the way from Ghostbusters fans that just mailed out today. And once that comes through, then I'll have another video ready to go for you guys there. It looks like it's going to be a while for the Max Factory parts and packs to be ready to go and sent out. So be patient, as I'm trying to be patient as well on the builds for those. My build for those specifically it's going to be dependent on whenever I get those parts. So there's really no way for me to be able to rush out these videos as soon as I get the parts. You guys know that I'll be happy to do the unboxings and show you guys what I get. But I can't rush those parts getting to me as far as the wait list items especially. So I'll be kind of showing you some things as I can as we go along, but I'm kind of at a point where I can't be in too much of a hurry. You guys know that I would jump at the opportunity to start building the pack from the ground up, starting today if I could. But once those parts get in here, then we'll be able to get going. So be patient with me. I'll try to be patient as well. And then I'll be posting some updates as I can, as things come in, either for the new pack or as far as changing this one to be more Ghostbusters 2 accurate. That's what the plan is as of now. Plans change, so we'll see how things go. But we'll just see. Want to thank you guys for watching. Everybody that subscribed here lately, I appreciate it. I have a lot of my videos I've noticed I've had a bump in views, and some of my old ones. If you haven't seen some of the older ones, then go back and check some of those out, and be happy to have you scroll through some of the old things that I've worked on leading up to this point. Not just Proton Pack videos, but reviews of some of the Hasbro products that are coming out. And excited about the new Ecto 1 Kenner Classics that's coming out. I got mine pre-ordered. That doesn't come out until August, so some more opportunity for us to be patient, but we'll be as patient as we have to be. And then as more things come out for Ghostbusters Afterlife, and hopefully the marketing for that starts to ramp up soon as well, I'll have my thoughts and opinions, and hopefully some actual products to be able to show you as well. That's all on the docket. That's all what you can expect from me and from this channel, and hopefully the Proton Pack won't be too far behind as well. With that, I'll say thank you for watching this one, and I'll look forward to sharing more videos with you here in the near future.